Okay, my friends, once again talking about, the research. I'm not telling anybody to do anything or not do anything. What I do is I do research. I look to see what is the American Cancer Society saying about cancer and lymph nodes, and what are the researchers saying, what are the trials reporting. And this is what I am doing, trying to put this together into a package, because I'm starting to see a relationship between virtually all cancers and the enzymes that are created, that are literally the chemistry sets, these enzymes, and they're created by bacteria. So the bacteria you have to create the enzyme creates the chemistry. The chemistry makes you healthy, or it may hurt you. So you need a balance. You need both the good and the bad, but you need them to be balanced. And the only way you can do that is to have the right bacteria living in your lymph areas. Now, this is where they live now. They're starting to understand this interstitium is the area where now they call it the fluid-filled highway. And it goes through your entire body, every organ, every blood vessel, it's a separate system. And it's in this one fluid-filled layer that coats all your organs, all your muscles, your tendons, your everything. It's in the membranes. It's the membranous layer they didn't realize existed until just very recently, as a matter of fact. It's called the interstitium. Okay, my good friends, as you know, I've been really on the case here about talking about the gut and about the link to cancer and COVID and the gut-brain connection, even autism, everything. Now, we're going to go into something very serious, and it relates to fecal matter transplants, which are all related to this gut-brain axis. Now, I'm going to show you a quick couple of shots, and then we're going to go into the lymph system, the lymphatic system. That's where these fluids flow that they never knew about before, the interstitium. It's in these membranous highways of fluids, and we need the bacteria to do the job. And that happens in the lymph system, in the lymph fluids. And we're going to go through what blood is, what lymph is, what all the chemistry, the whole 9 yards. So this is going to get extremely deep, and I'll be very complete about the way I present this. So it might take a little while to do this. But fecal matter is poop, and poop has the bacteria in it that is in your digestive system. That is what you need to make your digestive system work. If you have killed the resident bacteria that's supposed to be living there, they got little houses they live in and they just stay there. They're called fluid-filled highways and fluid-filled spaces. That's where they live. They float around in there, they just have a good time living. When you take antibiotics, you kill them. Or you've taken some toxic chemistry, or been exposed to something, some radiation, or something that is invasive to that cell lining and membrane, and it kills it and they die. You no longer have that cell, which is a bacteria. It's a single-celled organism. They live in you, and their only job in life is to create chemistry which makes extremely fast chemical reactions. You see what I'm pointing to right there? That is an enzyme, a protein. And that breaks down chemistry just incredibly fast, literally hundreds of thousands of reactions per minute versus one a month. Literally, I'm telling you, it's just incredible, the complexity of these molecules. And you don't get them if you don't have the enzymes. Well, they are the enzymes. You don't get those enzymes, which are these little packages here, unless the bacteria makes it. So if you don't have the bacteria, you're in trouble. So if you don't have the bacteria and you get somebody else's bacteria flushed into your system. Now they have pills. You don't have to use, they used to have to, like a colonoscopy, put it up in your rectum and squirt it into you. Now they don't have to do that. They can take these, they have a new process where they take the feces and they put it in capsules after it's all, whatever they do to it, and test it, make sure it's not going to hurt you. They put it in the capsules. And it's just been approved, just within the last couple of weeks. And since that, I've been getting a whole batch of people, well, not a whole batch, but I've had a couple of people talking to me about it. I'm going to go on a show next Tuesday about this and present my research, which is extensive. And as I will show you right now, I'm going to prepare for it and do, set it all up right now. So if you want to see what I'm setting up, stick around, because we're going to get into the lymph system. We're going to get into a lot of pictures of chemistry and what's in your body and how cancer invades and all of the different tissue layers and how they have membrane layers and absorb foods, and I mean there's a lot to this. And this is that membrane that I'm talking about. This is the fluid-filled highway. They never knew it was here before. They said, here, a newfound organ. They thought this was all just one big piece, but it's not. It has a layer of cells in here that house the bacteria, it appears. And there's another thing called Peyer patches. Like I said, we're going to get pretty deep. And this is where the bacteria live and produce the enzymes, and then they go out in the bacteria as well. And the enzymes go out through this fluid-filled highway to wherever you're being attacked through the outside tissue. Because it's like skin or mucosa or whatever. It's like an outside layer that coats your organs and everything else. Once it breaks through that layer, that's cancer. So, like I say, this is going to get a little involved, and we're going to go through what the lymph nodes do, because this is the reason you get cancer. Almost always is related to something. Well, it's always literally related to invasion through a membrane, and a membrane has to be maintained. Simple as that. And every membrane is different. Where you have acids and salts, and your kidneys are going to be different than your stomach, and your stomach's going to be different than your pancreas, and all those things, different ones, and they have all different cancers. Breast cancers, breast tissue is different than other tissues. It's all related to a certain type of tissue. Melanoma is these lymph nodes. All right, and it happens on your skin because your skin is exposed. And a lot of people get melanoma because they've been out in the sunlight too much, and it killed all, the sunlight hits you, and it's ultraviolet light damages you. People just sit under ultraviolet lights to get tanned, and they're killing their bacteria. And then your bacteria that's supposed to be in your skin can't fight and do its job. And then you end up with the lymph nodes, which are drawing all that stuff out of your skin. The lymph nodes, they're all over your body, your skin. I think I got a picture showing where they are. There they are. You see? These are where your lymph nodes are. And they're working with your blood vessels as well. That's why you see them down in here where you got a lot of blood circulation. And up in here where you got a lot of blood circulation. And you see where they are? A lot of blood circulation down through here, in where your guts are and all that. So anyway, the lymph nodes are all part of all this. You see these little tiny vessels? These are lymph vessels. All right? These vessels here carry only the lymph. You have blood and you have lymph. The blood, here it is right here somewhere. I got a shot of it. I thought I did. I guess I don't. There's three. Oh, I do not have it. Hold on a second. Okay, this is a lymph node. all your stuff dumps, the trash and the stuff that has to leave your body, which is waste from everything that's in your body, creates waste. All right, the bacteria is poop. They do all the things that living things do, and that's got to get out of there. Dead tissue has to get out of your body. Broken down bits and pieces that are extra, you can't use them, got to go out of the body. Salts, acids, all kinds of things have to get flushed down, and here's where they get flushed too, through these little tubes. It's called a lymphatic drain. And they just drain from the tissues that have used them up, and they just push them out, and it's through this lymphatic fluid. And we're going to go through the fluids very shortly. But what happens in here is all of the crap, because these are toxins. These are toxins. These are things that you got to get out of your body, and they're not broken down yet in most cases. By the time they get here, they have to be broken down in these lymph nodes. If the lymph node does not have the correct bacterial makeup to break up all these things that are coming in, well, eventually they're going to break through the walls. When they do, that's called lymphoma, where your body's attacked by things that can break right through. It's supposed to be separated. That's what all of this lymphatic system does. It's a totally fluid-filled highway. It says, you stay on that side of the highway, I stay on this side of the highway. You come on my side of the highway, I will kill you. And if you don't, and the guy comes across the highway, and you don't have the bacteria to kill him, well, the guy just comes in and he starts living in your side of the highway. And then, now you're sick. And that's what cancer is, and here it is right here. It's a tumor that invades that specific layer. That specific layer. It can come in here. They come in all the time. They're biting you and fighting you and cutting you and trying to get in here. But once they get through there and they start living and draining good stuff out of you, which is your good area down here, then they just go out of control. And you can't stop them because you don't have the bacteria to create the enzyme. And the enzyme is the product that kills those things. And here's where they live, in these fluid-filled highways. This white lymphatic fluid, it's a real fatty fluid that it runs through your whole body, everywhere. Every single organ in your body is coated with that stuff. It's a new organ. No, it's brand new. This meet your interstitium, new organ. That's it right there, that white layer. Runs all the way around your body, everywhere, on every muscle, every tendon, it's a membrane. It's part of the membrane that they didn't realize was the fluid-filled highway. Think about it that way. And here they are. They're everywhere. You see, where is it? It's one of these in here. There's a layer in here that's, I think it's down in here, that's the fluid-filled highway, or it might be up here. But it is where all of that. They never knew about it. Wait a minute. It's epithelium, and it's this new called from 2018 fluid-filled highway. So 2 is, yeah, it's the white one right there. This is where all the stuff goes. Now, they show it as blood. Well, there's more to it than blood. See, that's the key. They didn't realize it was interstitium fluids. So, anyway, we got some more looking to do. All right, this is the history of fecal matter transplants. This goes back, and of course the FDA just finally approved the pills for fecal matter transplants, but only if you failed drugs twice. In 1958, they knew this worked, but in 1978, it says, despite the volume of evidence before this, it was only by 1978, which is 20 years later, the value of fecal matter transplant was widely recognized in treating C. diff. In over 95% of the cases, the cure was quick and permanent. And still to this very day, they force you to take the drugs, which almost kill you. And then, when you reoccur, which happens quite frequently, eventually after 3 tries, and you're still not getting any better, they let you have the fecal transplant. They would have cured you quickly and efficiently and safely the first time around. Okay, good, clean, sterile, healthy fecal matter transplants are totally safe, they claim, and they cure C. diff instantaneously, 95%, quick and effective and permanent. The cost of C. diff is $5.4 billion a year in the U.S., and it can cost, you know, like, if you got to go to the hospital, it's like $42,000, $39,000, $47,000, $25,000. You know, these are just average costs to treat this. And when you get reinfected, most of the times it ends up being in the hospital, and then it just keeps coming back, and nothing you can do. But a third time, just before you die, they say, okay, you can have the fecal transplant, and then you're cured. Does that make sense to you? Now, if Truth Social is really going to open up and be truthful about what our situation is, especially in this healthcare, this is insane, absolutely insane. And the cost of the people that are involved in it, these are people that are healthcare workers, they're people that are mothers and fathers, and to have to take care of their kids are getting sick, and it's all because of this bacteria in the gut being a problem, and all you got to do is replace it. And most of the time it's caused by the doctors giving them antibiotics and then having them go into these hospitals where there's all kinds of these floating around little bugs, because that's where everybody goes with all these bugs. So you can't stop them. They're going to be here and there. And they pick them up acquired from the hospital. And that's a whole nother situation. That's even, that's I don't know if it's as bad as community-based acquisition of these microbes, but it's very bad, especially in nursing homes. It's just terrible, because people that are over 60, 65, their tight junctions start to loosen up, and then they're very easily invadable. And if you don't have the right bacteria in your body to make these correct proteins, to make these correct collagens, to make these correct tight junctions, to make the seals between your cells tight, these little buggers are going to wiggle right through there, and you're infected. That's what they call pre-existing conditions. Well, they got a pre-existing condition. What does that mean? Well, they're invadable. Why? I can tell you why. It's because they don't have the bacteria to fight back. Now, Truth Social, let's find out if there is some truth in Truth Social, because I can't find it anywhere else. Okay, this is the way your skin is, and this is the wrinkles in your skin, and you have blood, but you also have this lymph. You see the yellow, white-looking ones? It's a totally different fluid. I'm going to show you. Well, there's red blood cells, there's white blood cells, there's plasma, and there's lymph. Now, plasma is almost lymph. There's a little bit of an overlap there. Let's see if I can give you a little more details, because we're going to get into this, and this is where your immunity lives, basically. Okay, don't forget, you got blood, which is what we just talked about right here, which is platelets, red blood cells, and white blood cells. Now, lymphocytes are in the lymph area, apparently. Neutrophils, I don't know if we talked about that or not, but the red blood cells are totally different than the white blood cells. These are things that are meant to protect you, is what they say. Platelets are the things that, well, here, let me show you something. You see this? This is blood from one of my Mudfossils. They actually leak blood out of it. The platelets make the white fibrin that's underneath. You see that? That's the platelets. That's what creates the fibrin so that it can clot and make the scabs. This is very real, these Mudfossils, 100% real, there's no question whatsoever. Now this is where it gets interesting, is the lymph. The blood runs through veins and arteries. Lymph has their own special vessels that run through. And blood plasma, which is everything filtered out except the fluid, basically, and lymph are identical except for their respective locations in the body. Let's see what that means. Okay, lymph And plasma is primarily the region that the enzymes are transported in and the bacteria live. That's where the enzymes are created, because the bacteria is the factory that make the enzymes. The enzymes are the chemistry that can make all of these things happen in your body. But without those enzymes, you cannot create the chemistry fast enough. Enzymes are just unbelievably incredible at how fast they make chemical reactions happen. Without them, it would take, let's say, a week to do a certain reaction. With them, you do 100,000 in a second. I mean, literally, I'm not kidding you. And that's the only way you can have all of the chemistry working in your body to break things down so you can eat and breathe and you shield all your muscles and keep your tendons working and your blood vessels and your heart. And I mean, there is so much to the human body. As I go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, there's just no end. There's no end. I mean, I'm finding things that I had never thought about, like Peyer's patches. They're in the intestines. I never knew about that. And they peak between age 15 and 25, which is your prime golden years. These Peyer patches have to be associated, and then they drain off as you get older and older and older, and then you die. Well, it seems to me, between 15 and 25, if these are the things that are really strong and growing, and they're the most, at that point in time, they are strongest, and then you're strongest. So I'm going with them as being part of the aging process. I'm pretty sure. And is there something that causes them to get damaged? Is there something that causes them to get better? Can they get better once they're damaged? I mean, there's a lot to look at here. All right, I know this is running a little long, so I'm going to cut it off now. But we're going to go into this in another long dissertation about what all this stuff means. And I'll show you these things actually, what your gut looks like and how viruses get attacked, and all your different organs and sheathing and how the molecules work in your body. So we're going to get deep into this. You can't do this in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. It takes a little bit of time. So if you're interested, good. If not, not a big deal. It's up to you. So the next one is going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into how your body physically actually works, and the chemistry that is created by these little guys right here. Without that, you're done. And if you take antibiotics, that's an anti one of these. And if you kill the ones that are working for you, you're done. And if the bad ones take over, they can really wreak havoc. And that's what that Clostridium C. diff is, that gut disease. I mean, it's devastating. Thousands and thousands of them die within 30 days of getting it. Very, very quick.